आदरणीय प्रोफेसर झा सर, द्विवेदी सर, प्रसन्ना जी, अग्निहोत्री सर और विष्णु प्रसाद शर्मा जी, निशांत जी, सभी को प्रणाम करते हुए मैं आज के इस महत्वपूर्ण विषय पर आप लोगों का ध्यान आकर्षित करना चाहता हूं। आज 25 नवंबर को इंटरनेशनल डे फॉर द एलिमिनेशन ऑफ वायलेंस अगेंस्ट वुमेन है। और अभी कलकत्ता में मेरे कितने दिन आंदोलन हुआ, 100 दिन आंदोलन हुआ, क्योंकि बड़ी क्रूअलिटी से मेरी एक बहन को बहुत ही गलत व्यवहार किया गया। मैं उसके प्रति श्रद्धा व्यक्त करता हूं और आदरणीय विष्णु प्रसाद शर्मा जी, एक्स प्रिंसिपल, गवर्नमेंट आयुर्वेदिक कॉलेज गुवाहाटी को सादर आमंत्रित करता हूं उनके विचारों के।
Namaskar. Good evening to everybody. Hari Om. Respected distinguished guests, eminent speaker, ladies and gentlemen. I, Professor Dr. Vishnu Prasad Sharma, welcome all of you to AYUSH SAMRIDDHI International Webinar Series on Stop Violence Against Women. Most important subject today we have. In this webinar, we have eminent speaker. I want to welcome Dr. Suparna S. Mukherjee from Bolpur. Namaskar, madam, and welcome you to this AYUSH Samriddhi International webinar. Next, I want to welcome Dr. Soikot Kumar Basu from Alberta, Canada. Welcome, sir, to AYUSH Samriddhi International webinar series. Once again, I welcome all the eminent speaker, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. सबको स्वागत करते हूँ आयुष समृद्धि इंटरनेशनल वेबिनार सीरीज ऑन स्टॉप वायलेंस अगेंस्ट वुमेन। थैंक यू। नमस्कार। ओवर टू पवन जी।
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। मैं अब अग्निहोत्री सर को आमंत्रित करता हूं उनके प्राक कथन और मंच संचालन के लिए। मेरा कैमरा चालू नहीं हो रहा, कल मैं इसको ठीक करूंगा। कैमरे का ड्राइवर खराब हो चुका है, री इंस्टॉल करना पड़ेगा। आदरणीय अग्निहोत्री जी।
थैंक यू डॉक्टर प्रोफेसर पवन शर्मा जी। मैं इस नई वेबिनार जो हमारे 1922वीं नंबर पर की है, इसके टॉपिक स्टॉप वायलेंस अगेंस्ट द वीमेन, महिलाओं के विरुद्ध अत्याचार के रोकथाम रोकने के लिए आयोजित की गई है। इस पर पधारे हुए सभी अपने अतिथि वक्ताओं का बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूं। और जो विषय रखा है गंभीर, वो मैं समझता हूँ ये उत्तराखंड, उत्तर प्रदेश या भारत की न होके ये विश्वजनीन समस्या है। कहीं कम कहीं ज़्यादा परसेंटेज हो सकता है, कहीं क्रूएलिटी ज़्यादा है, कहीं कुछ कम है, बट सफरर फीमेल्स हैं। इसीलिए शायद इसको इंटरनेशनल डे के रूप में मनाया जाता है, मतलब इसकी चिंता की जाती है इस विषय पर। तो जैसे कि आपने याद दिलाया कि पिछले दिनों डॉक्टर बहन के जो संग असॉल्ट हुआ, ब्रूटल उसके साथ में बिहेव किया गया, अल्टीमेटली को प्राण भी देने पड़े। और ये विषय एक ऐसी पहेली बन के रह गया कि अभी तक विभिन्न प्रकार के इस विषय पर न्याय प्राप्ति के क्रम में इतने आंदोलन और सब हुए, सरकारें ने भी चिंता दिखाई, व्यक्तियों ने भी चिंता दिखाई, लेकिन हल नहीं निकला। तो समाज सेवी, मनोवैज्ञानिक और चिकित्सक भी इस पर, जबकि वो स्वयं चिकित्सक थी, इन सब हमारे जो बुद्धिजीवियों का भी एक विचार बन जाता है कि वो भी इस पर ऐसा रास्ता निकालें जो केवल संवैधानिक या न्याय प्रक्रिया या कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ से ही निर्धारित न हो, बल्कि मानवीय स्तर पर इसकी प्रथम स्थिति बनते ही कुछ पेनल्टी, कुछ जागरूकता, कुछ स्ट्रिक्टनेस बन जाए, या ऐसे ही पैरामीटर्स, रूल्स बन जाएं जो ऐसे प्रकार के कुकृत्य और जो हिंसा से जुड़े हों उनको बिगिनिंग करने की ही हिम्मत न कर सके। तो ये अगर कुछ बनता है, चाहे वो कार्यपालिका, विधायिका, न्यायपालिका, ये कैसे भी बने, तो शायद इस दिशा में कुछ पॉजिटिव कदम हो पाएगा। और इस सब के बारे में जानकारी प्राप्त करने के लिए हमारे अतिथि आज के वेबिनार के लिए उपस्थित हो चुके हैं। उनका हम बड़ी गहराई से स्वागत करते हुए मंच में उपस्थित अपने सभी गुरुजनों और सभी सहयोगी साथियों का भी हम बहुत बहुत स्वागत करते हैं। और आदरणीय मैडम डॉक्टर सुपर्णा सन्याल मुखर्जी जी से रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि वो अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन देने की कृपा करें। डॉक्टर सुपर्णा सन्याल मुखर्जी जी, नमस्कार।
Namaste.
जी मैम, नमस्कार।
Very good evening. Thank you very much for giving me another opportunity to say on this auspicious topic, that's stop violence against women. It is a very burning topic nowadays. Though we are marching forward for this 21st century and we are doing so many development so far as women is related, but we are same time the women are suffering from various types of violence. So violence against women is one of the most frequent violence of human rights. Its also causes are often to be found at a structural level. So violence is everywhere. If we can look into the violence there is so many causes, so many things are happening against women. The against women is one of the most frequent violences, human rights violence. It is a threat to women's lives. It puts their physical and psychological health at risk, and it is a threat to the well-being of their children. Violence against women has encompasses for society as a whole. The premature and the preparatory can be found in the every social and economic status, and most of them are male. In case of the society, where we are surviving, the which society we are surviving, that is the patriarchal society. So, in this patriarchal society, the male person, the men are getting the first and foremost priorities. These men are very virulent, and they are creating violence against women as expression of unequal power relationship between men and women. So the causes of this violence are to be found not only at the individual level but also the particularly at the structural level. These causes need to be eliminated in order to prevent further violence. But gender justice cannot be established unless misogynist structure will be formed, because we are living in a patriarchal society. We are not giving any types of importance to the women, those who are really needed and those who are taking care from our childhood. Those those who are doing violence, they are also created by this women only. So they forgot because they are surviving in the patriarchal society. There are various ways of the violence, especially sexual violence, sexualized violence. So this patriarchal society always think that women are the very weakest section, but they forgot that women are not the weaker section, because for the strength woman has when they are bearing child, it is the more strength that this men, the patriarchal society. Not only that, in that cases, the creation of God has been generated. The beautifulness of the woman are very good. So always we think that in animal kingdom there is nothing violence. In animal kingdom, the male animal, the male part counterpart is very attractive and they are very beautiful. But though it is the different in the human beings, that is the women are very beautiful than the men. But the similarities is also maintaining. The male persons are also handsome and the females are also very good, looking very good. And there are several types of violence which is happening in case of this domestic violence. Domestic violence we can see in the family itself, because the family, we have seen the boy child will get the first preference to get the all types of benefits, so when the girl child would not get it. But the parents will always think for the boys. And that cases, yeah, it has observed that from the our forefather, or generation like the 2-3 generation back, you can look that they are also always want that there should be a male child should born. That's why the population boom has happened. Then psychological violence. Psychological violence is refers to action which lead to emotional and mental inquiries of those affected. Psychological violence manifests that this the itself says that it is a intimidation of through looks, gesture, or shouting in correction of this threat, such as this threat to taking children away from a woman, or threatening to use physical violence, humiliation, dangerous situation, created of dangerous situation. It may happen in any parts of the world, like the your fellow colleagues may torture you, mentally torture you. So this type is happening. And jealous, if you are doing very good, others will jealous you. So this is mental pressure and mental insustainability always doing this the psychological context. So at the same time, nowadays it has been observed that cyber violence also continuing. And these kinds, this the sexual violence, female genital parts, violence, and this there is a crisis of word, instrument of power. So many violence, the patriarchal ways of sexualized violence, and this way there is a yeah, the symbol affecting violence. This is also is happening in that case. And the same time, the cyber violence is also happening in recently, when the if teasing has stopped, then the cyber violence has started. Now, what is the causes, the main causes of this violence against women? The person affected by the rape is never the person responsible for that violence. Neither her behavior, her appearance, nor her clothing can justify the violence. In that cases, we have seen this is called the structural violence. This structural violence has happened just recently. We have seen in the West Bengal. It is a very shame that there is a doctor who is needed for the society. We have the persons that molested them. So the in that cases, though the genital persons, if we think that they are very capable enough to molest a lady, and they will just ruin it for their own benefit, this is not the way we are marching forward for the 21st century. Though the law, implementation of law, violence against women, there is a law, we know very well that is also very dangerous. We people are educated, we know that what may happen, what will be done, and what is the law against it, but they think that that is the masculine power we can produce in this woman, so we are just molested and just kill, and this rape is happening in this human society only. But no, though the human being made themselves, and they are claiming that they are the topmost position in the animal kingdom, other animals are not in the topmost position. They haven't gone to for these purposes. But in these cases, it is very dangerous that this women are suffering from this inequality, and they are molested by the uses of this masculine gender. This masculine gender think that they are producing their power on this weaker section. But in animal kingdom, there is no rape case has happened. So in this situation, we can say that the structural causes and violence against women, then the discrimination of the woman, and the when the women are ill treated, so they are suffering. They are also molesting. Not only the molesting, physical molestation, but the molestation may happen. The mental molestation, then the psychological molestation, then symbolizing molestation, then abuse. These are also happening, and in case of the girl child also suffering from this types of matter. Everywhere we can see this. The educational institution is not except it is also there. So why this, how we can stop this violence against women, though there are so many consequences that may happen. We are trying, the male counterpart also trying for this very dangerous situation, how to recover the woman and how to save the woman for their benefit. But they are also failing because they are not sustaining, because the one part of the society is very dangerous and another part of the society is also very submissive, because all know the laws, rules, regulations, what may happen, because they are very confident that if they get the imprisonment, they may relieve from there. So let do what they used to get it. This is a psychological disorder. Those the person, though the male are doing the molestation of this female. So there is no weaker section that we are just producing, and we are showing our strength in the female. So in that cases, it is a very shame that we are, though we say that we are the very educated, and we are living in a patriarchal society. If the patriarchal society, the male part will be the very dangerous, then why they are maintaining the society? How they are maintaining the society? Another one, the violence against women has far reaching for this transgenerational trauma, and the watermind violence, sexualized violence, then sexism. It is type of disease, and in this disease, when they are suffering, they used to see the not the getting the attractiveness, the dresses, the beautifulness, the woman parts, nothing. They are is a mental disorder. So to stop these kinds of violence, we have to educate the persons from this day one, because in our education system, it is very lack in this moral education. So we needed the moral education. Moral education will support you. The value education will support you for not doing for these kinds of antisocial aspects, and this the violence against women. And the violence against women also can stop by this the awareness generating program. Every time, everywhere, if we can generate awareness, and it should start it from the beginning, when the male boys or the boys enter into the school. From that time, they should know the behavior, how to behave with this female counterparts. So they are their good friend, they are their mother, they are their sister, they are their friends. So they are have the main parts, the counterparts of this society. The solidarity with women strengthens social cohesion. It is also reduces the space availability to violence against women. Then the clearly stating that there is protection is needed for this woman, and through the society should know that what they are doing, they should not do it, and the women should get their proper support in every aspect. So in this way, we can develop the public awareness program. There's the program like the educational program. There should be and behavioral science should develop, and to develop the cognitive senses. And each and every male should get the meditation. They should enter into the meditation class, yoga class, stress and trauma sensitive approach. They can regulate it, and they should know the Buddha, they should know the Vivekananda, they should know regarding Ramakrishna what they have said, how, because it is a fact that the which society would not respect the woman, this society is not a society. So to respect the woman is the respect of himself. Just because if give and take policy, that means the give respect to gain respect. If I cannot respect the person should not respect. So that's why always at that time women has always proved their strength, and now it is not needed, because that with for the part we needed for this male counterpart, that is the single sperm. So this is now the science is so developed, we can create baby through these stem cells. So in that cases they are thinking that the woman since needed them. So, so they should know that it is a modern science, and woman has achieved the goal for their child caring and child sustainability, and giving birth of a child. So the male counterpart should give the respect to the female counterpart for the betterment of the society. Because if we can respect, then we can make the better future of the new generations. And Ayush Samriddhi, it is a very good, and I really appreciate that this type of webinar Ayush Samriddhi is forming, and they are celebrating, and this is the really good for the all. And Ayush will be developed by themselves for their cognitive senses. It is developing, so all should realize that Ayush is Ayush, and Ayush is give the all-time better feedback for the human being, for the human nation. Thank you very much. Thanks for giving such a
Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. Very important. You told that it's a very sincere and very sensitive issue, and if teasing will not be there, the women violence will not take place. The direct approach is this, that one should be means aware, and one should be careful at that stage itself, or should be punished or means handled properly. Then the advanced stage will not take place. So this is what this and one thing you told very important is that the persons are afraid and scared enough to not to have female child, and they go for the male child because at least the society will not be so means unfavorable for him instead of the female child. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Dr. Sagat Kumar Vasuji on the same topic, that how the female violence be stopped, and what may be the simplest way by the society, by in the family, by the government, or as a whole by the all NGOs and other person concerned responsible. So goes our lawmaking say units. How can they be useful to stop this thing? Dr. Sagat Kumar Vasuji, Swagat hai.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Appreciated. I think like we already had a very good discussion that Madam has provided the guideline. I would only like to add a few more things to this. Is saying that, Agnihotriji asked that what, like, Madam has highlighted what are the challenges, what we need to do. And Agnihotriji asked a very pertinent question. He's saying, like, what are the steps we could follow? For me, I think the first step, is the step that starts from the home. It is very important for the family to teach the boys and girls about the value of women. I think when a kid sees that a mother is being humiliated by dad, or a senior person in the family gets to humiliate a woman, these very starting things, or like, husband and wife could have always have a difference. I mean, it's pretty natural for husband and wife to have a difference. What I have seen around the world is this, that they have the argument in front of the kids. like whenever the dad is saying harsh word to the mothers or the mother is saying harsh word to the dad, I think it's very, very bad for the kid, is because for them, both of them are equally lovable. Both mother and father carries equal value in the mind of the child. But if the father demonstrates violence, negligence, demoralizing word or dehumanizing a woman, saying something like, "आए तू तो तेरे family तो ये है, तू तो कुछ नहीं लाया, तुझे क्या समझ है?" These very things of seeing the mother being humiliated is the first step in the life of a child, that he learns to disrespect women. So I think the problems we have in our society is not the problem of the society at large, and it is also a problem of our individual family, because we do not teach our kids to be respectful without knowing or unknowingly. When your housemaid is working at your place, and even the senior lady or your wife is saying something very harsh to her for not performing a duty or something like that in front of the kid, you are actually teaching the kid indirectly to learn to disrespect a woman who comes from a lower social economic status and stuff and things like that. So we do a lot of things we do not really understand. Even the sasuma mistreating a bahu in front of the grandchildren is a very bad example of how bad precedence about woman is being imprinted in our society. And this is not just the case of India. I have seen this around the world. And also there is one more thing that I strongly feel that children are negatively impacted, is when, like, in a family, when a child has done something wrong and someone needs to discipline that child. We all need discipline, we all make mistakes and stuff. But I have seen a lot of time, if the father is interfering to teach the child a lesson and trying to teach him that this is not right, that is not right, or scolding or something like that, the mother jumps in. Or the other part also, the mother is trying to teach the child or something, the grandmother jumps in, or the father interferes and stuff and things like that. And if this keeps on happening repeatedly, it gets imprinted in the mind of the child that, oh, whatever mother says is useless. She has no value. So I can easily disregard. I can easily disobey. Today it is mother. Tomorrow it's my wife. Day after tomorrow it's my office staff. And even day after that is my daughter. So this is a historic way in which we always talk about great values of India, great societal value in Indian family and things like that. But at the same time, we very much disregard like how women is treated in our own family. Maybe we are not aware of that. Maybe we do not see that we are misbehaving and how it is impacting the children. They learn from us. Every little children, like the last accident in Uttarakhand, which has happened very terrible with so many deaths and stuff and things like that. The boy who was driving the car and was given the car by his rich dad and needs to answer this question: how come at 2 o'clock in the morning the key was he could take the key and take out his friends and stuff and go out so easily if this was not a habit? So if you like, I always say, before, I mean, cursing the children, we need to curse their parents, that what kind of training and values that they have given, that today they may be crying that, so many children and stuff, they have died. How could all the parents of these 6 children allowed them to go out and party at 2 a.m. in the morning, like when everyone is going to sleep? If the family does not care, if the family does not train them, if the family does not train them to be respectful towards women, this is going to happen what has happened. Not only that particular boy is under treatment, actually he is responsible for killing 5 other children. Like, the accident, they may have money, they will bribe the police, they will bribe the judiciary, they will get out. And this is another very important part of our societal problem. That things, even like, if a woman is molested, if a woman is humiliated and stuff, all these things, if it goes to the police and if it is goes to the case, if you are from the elite part of the society, then there is no law. I always say that the Honorable Supreme Court of India has 2 sets of law: one for the rich and privileged and politics, and one for the poorest of the poor, for the middle income people. And the third is no rule for the poor, because they cannot even appear in Supreme Court because it is too expensive. So this sad reality tells us why these things are happening is because if you will see the history of that particular child, Agnihotriji, that particular
जी
child who committed the accident, if it is possible to go and look from his school to this day, you will see that this children is a repeated offender. He has done repeatedly wrong things that has been neglected, and this is how he has landed up in this serious accident. And he will possibly get out by bribing money and stuff without a punishment other than the wrath of God, unless he has a body injury or something that has happened because of the accident. But nonetheless, this very indiscipline in our house, this very indiscipline in our society, and this very indiscipline in our judiciary system is actually feeding the challenges of women being the violence against women. The family violence does, like the violence against women, does not start from the street. The violence against women starts from the family. At the smallest unit of a nation, the smallest unit of a modern state. Unless that family is fixed, that family issues are fixed, we are never going to be able to go to the bottom of the challenges of violence against women. What we are doing currently at present is just ornamental or cosmetic changes, I call them. And also at the same time, we have this section 398A, which has been done. It was promulgated and created for protecting women, but this has been taken for granted by for many women, and for many men has fall victims to that. So there, are they getting justice? That there are many men who are suffering because of this false implication through this 398 section A by many women. So this, but there is the court, the law, the judiciary, the parliament has never been able to address that. This very anger that I am being humiliated by a woman who knows that this man who does not get justice from the court will go and take this revenge from another woman, which is stupid, but this happens. So these are the challenges that we need to look at the very microscopic level. And the third is there is a psychology. When you are a repeat offender, or when you are on the receiving side, say you are a woman, and for example you have been repeatedly raped for a long time, and you are helpless, and you could not resist, you could not protect yourself, you could not go and complain because no one goes to listen to you and stuff. A psychologists say that there has been a phenomenon. They say that you slowly fall in love with that individual that repeatedly abuse you. This is the reason you will see that out of there is a societal pressure, out of also there is economic insecurity. Many women who are abused by their husband, boyfriend, or their close relatives do not go and complain to the police and stuff because of the societal pressure, societal taboo. But at the same time, they have accepted these violence against them as a form of love, or as a form of expression of that individual. If you go into tribal areas where there is a lot of violence, if you talk to the woman, you will be surprised to hear that they are, like, for say there are 20 units in a village or 20 families in a village. I have come across this. There is one family, a young couple, tribal, same, but this man is very respectful to his woman. They love each other, and he has never, put his hands on his wife, mistreated or beaten him. He's a center of discussion of all the women in the village, not the men, but the women of all ages, young and old, saying that there must be some problem with this man. He never beats his woman. They share food together. They go to work together. There is no sound of sighs and cries of this girl being beaten at night. Then there must be something abnormal. But we may laugh at this, looking at the simplicity of the situation, but I think it tells us a very important story. What? That is, violence has been accepted as an integral part of our society, which is way more dangerous than violence itself. That it has become a common norm. Though when the husband, after coming back from work, does not beat the shit out of his wife, and the wife is not crying, she's coming out and meeting the other girls, there is no scratches, there is no dark eye and stuff, then actually that husband does not love that girl. So even an expression of love has been defined in the form of violence. This is very, very dangerous. And the last but not the least, which is, I think, is very important, and I would like to highlight, if you would screen 1,000 cases of sexual abuse, rapes, and of every other dimension may have happened to different women, you will be shocked and surprised to know that the abuser has been known to the victim. It is very, very rare that that individual has been raped or abused or molested by someone that she had absolutely no idea or had never seen it or never known him. If it happens, it is not that it does not happen, it definitely happens. But if it is 10%, then 90% of the abuser of women are their close relatives, friends, family members, extended family members, cousin, etc., or family friends, or someone that their family knew. It is not total strangers. So this is very, very alarming, and this is a global statistics that 90% of abuses come to the woman from people they know, people they trust, either within their family or outside their family. Could be friends, could be folk, could be family members, extended family members, but someone that the victim knew. It is extremely rare, very, very rare, for a woman being attacked or abused or raped by someone completely unknown. It is not that it never happens, but their percentage is much, much lower. The percentage which is much, much higher is the victim knows the abuser. This is also very alarming. And because our administrative system, the police system, the judiciary has not been able to handle this situation very properly, very significantly, and answering these questions of how to deal with regulating family violence, how this could be monitored. Extremely sorry. Whether this could be investigated by some social services or something like that. If a woman is abused, if there are local legal cells where the woman could go for help and things like, there are Mahila police stations everywhere. And I have heard that these Mahila police stations and the police women working in these police stations are even more abusive than main counterparts, that many women who have gone there for help has complained that these women are more asympathetic, more crude, more non-helpful than even men. So these needs to be evaluated. Like for the huge salary, the huge perks our judges now get, whether at the level of Supreme Court, High Court, or the lower courts, is phenomenal. The salary and the perks that the government is providing them at the developing country level is outstanding. I challenge how many countries at the level of India with such a huge population provides such a good coverage. But what is the judiciary returning to the society? Those who should be in the jail, they are moving outside. Those who have not committed the crime, they are implicated, are inside the jail, inside the prison, and no one cares. We had one wonderful CJI, or Chief Justice of India, who has just retired, was very vocal about doing everything right, and who never did anything right, has given us a lot of lectures, but he has retired now. We have a new Chief Justice. Hopefully, he will do and work something towards making systems better. But unless the society change, unless our individualistic material change, I think it is going to be a very, very big challenge for to counter the violence against women. Thank you very much. Thank you for providing me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much
Thank you very much.
for your direct communication regarding top class issue. Definitely, what you pointed out is very, very important, because it starts from the house itself, and it should be prevented, and it can be prevented from there itself, as far as the abuse and the mishandling and misbehavior is concerned. And then it goes to on and on to the college students, teenagers, etc., etc., and ultimately they suffer. But one thing very important, which you told, that even the female chaired thane or police stations are not cooperating with such victims, and also. So this is a almost fact, because they in reply torture them and try to prove that whatever they are complaining, this is all false, and you yourself, I mean, the sufferer herself might be a wrong person, and in that way she had to suffer. So there is always a non-cooperative attitude at their police stations, etc. Ultimately, they go to the media or the other, and then they get some sort of support and relief. So anyway, the topic is very vital, and it is always, and it is everywhere applicable. I think it is globally important topic, and some sort of solutions maybe started out to start with something at teenagers or the school going child, along with their parents, guardians, and teachers. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Namaskar. So in this way, we came to an end of this current topic. Also, the persons, those who are with us, they may include or add on something of their thinking, their thoughts and values. Or I may call our very important person, those who are having their own personal. Dr. Madam Sutapa Vardhan is also with us. She has just joined. I think being female, she may add on
Yes,
something. It is a pleasure to say something. Please.
very interesting. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
joined it because I was just attending another call, and I thanks
Oh,
for interrupting me. I was thinking twice how to interrupt you, and
mm,
this is coming very bright and very
mm,
prominently in my mind, because just last week I had attended a session, and that was around child abuse and
yeah.
all the sexual activities and about POXO Act. And
Mm,
it was the session which I attended. It was a whole day program, and it was in the psychiatry department of SSKM hospital. And I think many of us who is in Kolkata knows SSKM as hospital and the IOP, that the Institute of Psychiatry. And it was
yeah.
hosted by the world renowned Dr. Sheshadri. So I think we all know Dr. Shekhar Sheshadri. So some take backs which I take from there, I just wanted to share here. We were talking of child abuse. We were talking of like sexual violence. I would just focus into the child. So as we know, like, this is a very burning topic, and I think our speakers earlier has emphasized much on that. But what I took back the other day was child abuse or child molestation is not necessarily physical. Okay, so it's not that every time it has to be physical touching, or implications, and even looking at the child, okay, or any young adolescents who feels uncomfortable in the discussion, in the talking part, or even in the touching part, can be a part of the violence and the agony. Because when we talk of, as a mental health professional, as a psychologist, when we think of violence, it is not only the physical violence which we are thinking of, it is also the mental trauma which actually lands up in the person's mind, and eventually it is a very long lasting effect in the person's mind, and it is not stationary, that it has happened at that age and
हरिओम
it.
सर, हरिओम सर। इनमें से किन किन से बात हो चुकी सर? सॉरी प्लीज।
Okay. So it is not only the situation whereby we see that the people is impacted at that age, but this is a lifelong bad memory which stays in the person. Just like how we know from Freud that childhood memories and childhood events and childhood incidents can shape up a person's future. Similarly, these sorts of event that happens no less not only shapes the person futures, but totally shatters the future, shatters the mindset. And I think we all know about cases like the Muzaffarpur case, which had happened, and it was devastating that when violence are taking place, not on people, not on children who are like us, but on special children. So imagine the state of violence going to these people, and even the worst part was, out of the 46 children, 26 people could not come into witness because they were special child, and they could not talk, they could not speak, and obviously their verdict, sorry, their statement was not taken into account. And these are things which really is very disturbing in the society. I think at least there are mental health professionals, there are institutions which are taking this forward. So we look towards a positive we look towards a positive future. The POXO Act, which came up in 2012, underwent a lot of amendments, and in 2019 we did have amendment. And what I found it very interesting, when one of the lawyers who addressed us from the Supreme Court from Delhi said that we should come up with these complaints, like keeping the trajectory and keeping the confidentiality in place. It's important that we file cases, and we know the Indian judiciary system is not equipped enough, or it takes ages for a problem to resolve. But at the same time, we need to understand that if these situations come in the court, come in the law, then we can understand the vitality of these acts and we can make amendments. And I think this is a great topic. We just want to hope that we address them, if not eradicate them from the society, but we give enough consolation and enough assurance to the society, to not only to young girls, but also young girls and boys, that they should voice their opinion. And like, we should also not stigmatize these people. With this, I end whatever I had to say. I think time is too less. I don't want to hold back. And thank you once again for giving me an opportunity to express myself. And thanks my earlier speaker. It was indeed enlightening to hear you all. Thank you very much.
हरिओम। आपकी आवाज बंद हो गई।
अरे मैम, सुपर्णा धनल जी को धन्यवाद करते हैं। आपका म्यूट हो गया था।
सुतपा जी।
आपका
No,
प्रेजेंट
I am
सुतपा।
I am Sutapa ji, not Suparnya ji.
नहीं नहीं, हम सुतपा बताइए। सॉरी सॉरी सॉरी।
No, please don't be sorry. I am delighted that I got compared to her, because she's so enlightened and she's so educated. I feel nice if at least
What
once
a
in a
positive
while.
approach! What a positive approach! Wonderful.
I don't know how much she will be happy, but I'm delighted that I am called by her name. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks for your great words and your also ideas which have you given, that this abuse may be male for male or female, it is always a curse to the society, and we do hope that if we start thinking in a positive direction, I think, and we are intelligent enough, we are educated enough, and we are having our social prestige. We should come forward to stop it. This violence is concerned, irrespective of the gender, but it should be equally be careful to avoid it. Thank you so much. Thank you, and I thank all the guest speakers of this webinar, having the topic to stop violence of especially. With this, we are reaching to the end of this program, and any person, I think all have given their support. So Nishan Shukla ji, if he is here, if you are here, please, would you like to say something add on? I think our females have done a lot regarding the stoppage of such type of violence pertaining to the females. With these words, I extend our thanks to all the guest speakers of this webinar, and also of the today all the rest two webinars. These are really very good topics, and our gurus, our scholars, our senior persons contributed a lot for all the topics, and it will be a long way to take out the extract from